Down in the depths of my soul, feeling the loss of control and in the spirit, so colorful. Easy feeling, then let's go to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, all you lovely lots out there in YouTube world. And of course, if you're listening later on podcast world as well, welcome to the Toon Review and welcome to tonight's kind of match review stroke transfer show, because we haven't been on air since the Rangers game to discuss it in more detailed fashion. Thank you to everybody that tuned in for the watch along. Of course, we hit record figures again for that. Over nearly 2,700 watching at one stage, which was absolutely blew our minds. If you do enjoy tonight's show tonight, as usual, guys, hit that thumbs up button for us. And of course, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, which is free to do so, and come and join this incredible community that we have, almost at 22,000 subscribers, which has gone shooting through the roof again. Now, many people have expected our good colleague there, Alex, to be wearing a black armband tonight in homage to Maxi. He isn't. He has been very sensible about the situation. Of course, a lot of people are talking about the price tag for Maxi. You know, why is it so low? Is there a reason for that? And, you know, spending £38 million on Harvey Barnes, is that something we need to look at as well? But all will be spoken about in the show tonight. Before we start on the transfer business, I want to just touch on the Rangers game, because I haven't, you know, we did a brief prognosis of the game straight after it. But, you know, when I look back at that game, I think the first half for me, Billy, when we were commentating on it, we were really impressed with the football that Newcastle United were playing. It was very, very quick movement. We were pressing very high again and making it very difficult for Rangers to play out. It's clear that, you know, we were very motivated for the game. We didn't really treat it like a friendly in that first half. But for all the passing and stuff like that, we just didn't generate any real chances, did we? Yet, second half, you know, if we'd flipped Callum around, Callum would have been there to score the goals from Anthony Gordon's assist. But some of the football was breathtaking that first half.
Yeah, but they were purring, weren't they? And so were we in admiration at what we were seeing. Some of the football was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Considering it was Sandro Tonali's first game, he fitted in like he'd been there for years. Knew where people were going to be, where people were going, found people at will. No eyes passes and all that kind of stuff was going on. Looked really promising, apart from when we got in the box, except for the goal, which was a typical Miggy Almiron goal. We've seen it 12 times last year, 1,000 times, I'm exaggerating.
But that's what we're going to see from Miggy, though, isn't it, Billy? That's exactly what we want to see moving forward. You know, he did have a good preseason last year. He started again. He looked very hungry and took his goal really well. Yeah,
it was a really impressive finish. No chance that Alan McGregor at 42 was getting down to it, and I don't think any other goalkeeper had got to it, because it was right in the corner of the net. Fantastic finish. And a really good first half performance, I've got to be honest. Really was good. I really enjoyed it.
Alex, of course, you know, the first half was excellent football. You know, we thought Sean Longstaff had a bit of a dodgy game on Saturday against Gateshead. Much better in that first half against Rangers. But it was the link-up play with what we noticed most of all was the link-up play with Tonali and Anderson. It was, they linked up a couple of times, and that looks really promising as well. Anderson started quite well in the pre-season.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't impressed with Sean Longstaff. I wasn't disappointed with him.
Really?
I think I wasn't impressed. I thought that was a default standard performance.
Yeah, well, that's
it was
probably what I
okay.
meant more than anything. I mean,
It was just, he'd cut out the
back to his usual
mistakes.
self.
But, no, it's not his fault, but you can just see there is a bit of a level difference in some of the players around him. Obviously, Anderson is a lot more technically gifted than Longstaff is. I know they're very different players.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Longstaff did a couple of nice things. He did a really, really long, like a sort of 45, 50-yard switch out to the right-hand side that was immaculate. He did a couple of really nice things. But, he's down there to be consistent and to have work rate. So as long as he's not making mistakes, he's fine. He's reliable. We know what we get. But yeah, having Anderson there, sort of that turn of pace and the technical ability. I say turn of pace, maybe the wrong phrase. Just really, really quick movement over a few yards, but not in sort of sprinting, but in just making space for himself and then picking the right pass, having decent technical quality, a good weight of pass. He's just got that. He's just got it. He's got that little bit, and you can see he's definitely somebody who could be really useful. There are a lot of times we were complaining about him being in midfield and how he should have been on the wing because he was quite aggressive at running at people. I don't know. I'm starting to kind of see why maybe he's been used in midfield. He looks like he's learning a lot, and he's learned a lot. And for all the way we talked about this one after the Rangers game that Miggy, can't just score worldies all the time. We're going to have to create the spaces for him. He's going to have to get he doesn't miss those chances. That's a good opportunity for him if you give him a high value opportunity. With a player like Anderson improving and Tonali coming in, a few little passing moves, boom, space is there. Miggy's in goal. So maybe it's not over for Miggy for a decent goal scoring run next season if we can give him high value opportunities, because he's not going to be able to go and score 5 or 6 worldies again. It's just unrealistic for him. We've got to try and create better chances for him, really.
Now, a lot of people, obviously, the second half, it was up and down because of the changes we made. And it was always going to be like that, to be honest, in the second half when we started to make the changes. However, I think, we mentioned it a lot, Billy, in commentary, that Bruno just did not look himself at all from the word go. And I've since read a lot of people thinking that he's still injured, that he's still nagged by that injury to his ankle. Now, I would have thought that if there was any possibility of that would have been dealt with in the summer. But he did look absolutely ring rusty's not the word. I mean, I know, look, Bruno's quality and he'll come through it, but are you worried a little bit that he's got this thing about him where he hangs on the ball a little too much?
No, I'm not. I don't think it'll be a permanent thing. I think it was a game that was his first in a couple of months. A yard short of pace. Wasn't helped by the pass from Darlow, which went about 60 revolutions every 5 minutes. It was the slowest pass I've ever seen. He wanted a bit of pace and it to lay it off quickly, or maybe even turn the bloke behind him. Because it was that slow, the bloke watched him first. As I say, he's a yard short of pace. He did lose the ball a few times, but towards the end of the half, he played some beautiful little flicks. I remember a back flick into the path of Isaac, which was phenomenal. So he was getting into it as the game went on. Yeah. But he was definitely a yard short of pace early on.
Yeah. Phil, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, all the best, lads. Shame to see Maxi go, but in Eddie and the club we trust. Now, one guy that did stand out first half, Alex, was undoubtedly our new boy, Sandro Tonali. Some of his play was absolutely just stunning to watch. Some of the passes he was playing. And I think, Billy, if we remember one that he played over the top didn't even take a touch. He just looked up and played it over for Callum Wilson. Just slightly overhit. This guy has vision, and what we see is he's using that vision before he's even received the ball, and he knows exactly where the ball's going to go. Yeah,
it's going to be dangerous next season. It's going to be real dangerous. I mean, in terms of his overall performance, yeah, I agree. You can see his quality there. You can see why we bought him. He's everywhere. He's able to go and sort of link up on the right side. He can drop in where necessary. He's got switches, crosses, long balls, through balls. quality of passings there, his positional awareness, his scanning is second to none.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I like Sean Longstaff, but when you watch Tonali next to him, it makes Sean look terrible. And I really don't mean to be insulting to Sean, because I think his game's come on so much and he's a decent player. But there is just a big difference.
That's where we're aiming for now with Champions League style of footballers, you know.
But that specific pass that you're on about, when we've trained for that more often, because obviously we do sort of in-game real life scenarios, like match scenarios when we do training, I can imagine there's going to be a lot of that next season. Sort of, do you remember sort of Fabian Schär over to Joelinton? I can imagine sort of Joelinton, Willock, Isak, possibly Wilson, maybe Barnes and Miggy. Everybody's going to be trying those funny runs, just waiting for maybe Tonali to do that on the half turn. And like, who's it going to come from? Because all of a sudden you've got Trippier, Schär and Tonali on that right side, and possibly even Bruno to a point. Where's the ball coming from, and at what point? Somebody makes the run, especially if he can play a ball of sort of a decent quality without even looking. The defense doesn't have time to set or get ready or follow a runner. It's going to be an extra weapon for us next season, that ball, especially once we're into the box already. And it's just, the quality of long balls and crosses is so much better. As we saw when we watched the under-21s, it was just flawless. Yeah.
Zishan, thank you very much for your 1999 super chat. Thank you for your continued support, matey. He says, hi, guys. A bit confused about the whole Maxi situation. Just wanted Alex's opinion on, do you think he's been forced out? And also, do you think we could have got more than 25 to 30 million euros? That's been reported. And also, by the way, Damien Geordie, welcome to Members Club. Thank you for signing up, and welcome to the Toon Review family, my man. Alex?
That's difficult to say. I mean, the rumored wage is what, 200,000 a week. And he's on somewhere between 45 and 65, I think. So he's having his wages almost quadrupled. He's got a family. You know, I know people are saying, oh, shut up, that's ridiculous, we don't earn anything like that. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But you've got to remember that the rest of his family and his children might not be professional footballers. So if he's going to be the only one in a few generations to earn silly money, then he can set his whole family up for life. Literally for life. There's going to be nobody in his bloodline is ever going to have a problem with money ever again. So, you know, I understand why people do these things. It's why James Maddison did it. He had newborn twins, like it happens. But in regards to the move itself, we just spoke about this before we started. Yeah, I mean, the fee seems a little low to me. A few people will argue with me and put his goal record up. Yeah, okay, fine. But he's a peak age midfielder who can, if you get the right tune out of him, be incredible, and everybody knows that. I just think it is a little bit low, unless the add-ons and bonuses are considerably more than we're being led to believe. We're not really being led to believe it's anything. We don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Ab says, get out of here. Bruno was fine. Well,
he wasn't, Abs. Go and watch the game again. He lost the ball for the goal.
First,
he wasn't fine. He wasn't fine. He was. Look, we're allowed to criticize, guys. Come on. I mean, Bruno, that's your opinion, Abs, and perfectly welcome to it. But you know what? I didn't see a good performance from Bruno, but it was his first game back after getting married, after being on honeymoon. All that stuff has to be taken into account. And I said at the time, I'm not worried about Bruno. He'll be fine. But a lot of people have commented saying, was he still injured, etc. I'm not. He's not, because he would have got it sorted. So it's his first game back in pre-season in quite an intense atmosphere, to be honest, at Rangers. So I'm not worried about Bruno. Well, he did. He got kicked around. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
I don't think that's a bad thing, because we've got that mistake out of the way early. He's not going to make that mistake again anytime soon. He's going to be very wary of receiving a pass from the goalkeeper. Where is the pressing forward? Where he's going to be so careful the next time. He doesn't even need to be told to be careful.
Well, he doesn't. But look, I don't think he'll be that bothered about it. You know what I mean? We went on to win the game. It was a pre-season friendly.
Oh, I think he will. I think he'll be really hard on himself. He's an absolute
probably
champion.
At the time, but not
really
now.
angry with himself.
Not now. Days past, it's gone. He'll be on to the next game now, which is on obviously midnight on Sunday.
I disagree. I think he'll be thinking every time he's in that position, he'll be thinking, right, don't let this happen. Where am I? Where do I need to be? What's going? I think top players use moments like that. They don't want to make
They
mistakes.
do, but I don't know. I just look.
It's a good
He
thing.
wasn't. He wasn't at his best, but he needed minutes in his legs, and that's what he's got.
But as it went on, as the game went on, he looked much better. As I say,
he did.
Some of the skills he showed towards the end of that half was phenomenal.
Yeah.
As I say, that back flick into volley, back flick into Isak was just levels above.
Bruno is class. Let's put it. He's class, and class is permanent, right? So he will come good. I've got no worries about Bruno, but he wasn't at his best on Tuesday. Trolls, thank you for your 100 Norwegian krona. Very, very kind, matey. Thank you so much. He says it hurts to see Maxi go, but wish him all the best. Thank you, Maxi. Now, just one last point on the Rangers game, guys, and that is the performance of Lewis Miley, because a lot of fans are of the opinion that he should be part of this first team squad going into the season, because it doesn't matter how old he is. This guy looks talented, Billy. And, for a kid, he's shone in the last 2 friendlies. There's no doubt about that, and hasn't looked out of place. And even trying the fancy flicks as well against Rangers. Would you give him that opportunity?
I think you've got to be careful with him because of his age. We've seen so many players burnt out, being used too much too quickly. I think Eddie Howe will use him as he did Anderson last season in fits and starts, and he will get chances, possibly cup games, but without doubt the kid's got talent. And that's why I think it's Gallagher thing's a load of nonsense, because we don't need another midfielder. We've got 5. We've got Anderson and Miley to add on top of that. I don't see one another midfielder, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Alex, what do you reckon?
I'm not worried about him being burnt out. I don't think that's even possible. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near enough minutes for that to even be possible. Kids do burn out if they break through into first teams at 17, 18 years old. I mean, look at Tielemans. There's been a few videos about that, and I completely agree with that. We've talked about him coming through too young at sort of 15, 16 years old. And even though he's 26 and everybody thinks it's the peak, he's played over a decade of football, and his minutes run is stupid for a 26-year-old. It's more than most. And your bodies do let you down. Look at Wayne Rooney. It is a real thing. So the age is just a ballpark figure at the end of the day. But I don't think Lewis Miley is going to be able to rack up 50 to 70 performances straight away. I think
I just meant around the first team, around the first team picture on the bench, things like that being involved.
I think a loan may be good for him at some point,
possibly.
But I think there's especially now our team's a lot better. I think there's benefits of them having a bit of time with the first team and having a loan. I think a bit of both, a sprinkle of both, because imagine like training every day with those caliber of midfielders, it can't do you any bad with a competitive spirit and the level of coaching. We know our level of coaching is top tier now. So depends where he goes, if he wants to go on loan or if the club want him to go on loan.
It'd be interesting. Ab says, I want to see Tonali on set pieces more. He didn't take any against Rangers. A good point, Abs. We said it before. We thought they might alternate between taking the set pieces, but it seemed to be Trippier on everything in the first half. I really want to see him on set pieces. We saw it in the under-21 championships. This guy he's very, well, his set pieces were special. He made the defenders work nearly every one he took. The defenders were forced to clear the ball. So for me, I hope we see a little bit more of that. The Clone Lad says Diaby is off to the Villa. Yep, it looks that way. A lot of people have been saying today, well, we should have gone for Diaby instead of Harvey Barnes, but we'll come on to Barnes in just a second. Ratchet, thank you very much for your membership. I think that's a renewal, or it is a new membership after a few months, but thank you, Ratchet, and welcome back to the Members Club. Kieran says, hi, everyone. I don't understand the Livramento signing. A waste of 30 million when we have Ashby.
Yeah, but he can play both sides. He can play left back as well as right back.
He can. But isn't it about time that we went for a proper left back, though? An established attacking left back. I really do see that as our position that I want to see filled.
It's about squad building as well. What people seem to forget, everybody's like, okay, we've got Trippier, and then Ashby is the potential young backup, depending on what we do with Kraft and Manquillo. But then Trippier's 33. How many more years are you expecting to get out of Kieran Trippier? 2?
Yeah.
Like, if we're lucky. We need more players. What happens in 2 years then if we've not planned this? What if Trippier is about to retire and Ashby has a double leg break? Like, squad building is a real thing at this level. With the amount of money in football, you have to be careful with your squad building. Otherwise, silly things happen. Like you slip down to 12th place because you're a silly blue club, or all of these funny things. Squad building is really, really essential. Livramento is young, promising, talented, can play both sides. And let's not forget, if we do decide in five years' time we want to sell one of them, Livramento and Ashby should have really good resale value, and we will probably make a profit on whichever one we do get rid of, if we get rid of one. So, this would be good for finances in the future, whether it's great for the squad or great for finances. I think it'd be great for either or both. Why not?
I saw a
Scouts
report on Livramento from when he was at Chelsea, and the scout said he's equally adept at playing left or right back.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen's making the point there. Yeah, if he's touting Livramento for both full-back positions.
Potentially.
Yeah. Tide says we are getting a left winger when we need a right winger and getting a left back when we need a right winger. Am I missing something, says Tide?
Well, we need a right centre back as well. But the thing is, if you look between the lines today, Southampton have rejected 2 bids from Monaco for Salisu, which means they're kind of trying to replace Dizazi in my eyes.
Yeah. Look, I think Alex Murphy may well be in Eddie Howe's eyes to be a part as well. I thought he's looked excellent. And considering he was on with Paul Dummett, he stood out a mile on Tuesday night in that second half. Some brilliant tackles. Didn't panic on the ball. So, he's a good sign. He was signed to go into the academy and hopefully grow and come through into the first team. And it's clear that Newcastle want to try and do that with some of the academy by some of the players that they've bought over the summer. We've seen quite a few youngsters come in, and they're obviously to develop for the first team and have got that class about them. With regards to Harrison Ashby, I think, Ashby for me looks a very, very good right back. He's got good strength. He bombs forward. He's got a hell of a header on him, as we saw on Tuesday. It's I don't know. There is many people are panicking about the about the lack of signings really. But for me, some of the kids that we've signed are there as well, and we're developing a very good squad. So I'm not panicking just yet. But if we move on from the Rangers game, this guy looks quite good in a black and white shirt, guys.
He does.
He does indeed, yeah.
Now, there's a lot of mixed reaction. I put a tweet out earlier today saying I hope he absolutely smashes it this season and proves the haters wrong. And then I got a few people commenting back saying, I've seen no hate towards him. I've seen no disrespect or anything. There's loads out there who are saying, why have we sold Maxi? Harvey Barnes isn't half the player. He's rubbish. He's a championship player. And if you haven't seen all of that, then you're not reading properly. There's been loads of comments on Harvey Barnes, which I'm shocked at. It's not Harvey Barnes' fault that, Leicester and Newcastle agreed a £38 million fee for him. It's not his fault at all. But what we're getting with Harvey Barnes is a very, very exciting youngster. Well, not youngster, but he's relatively young. But we're getting an exciting player, Alex, who knows where the net is and can play either side.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good winger who has got much better off-the-ball attributes than some of our wingers. He's got a good goal output, a far better goal output than any of our wingers. Obviously, Miggy got a good amount last season, but Barnes has done it for several years. He's played in a decent side because Leicester were good at one point, so he's played in a side that was well put together, balanced, good in possession. Obviously, they weren't that this season. Well, the season just ended. And he managed to maintain his goal output in a really poor season. And he'll bring a lot to our team, definitely, and be very, very useful. I can imagine he'll be flexible and versatile in his position, in his role. And it's just one of those interchangeable kind of players where it just fits. It does fit our system. And he's taller than people think as well. So I think Kev pointed this out to me, the fact that a lot of the websites say he's like 5'8", 5'9", but then he's pictured next to Emil Frankie from True Faith, if you know him, and I'm pretty sure Emil's like 6 foot or just shy of 6 foot, and Harvey Barnes is literally like the same height. So he's taller than I think a lot of these websites are giving him credit for. I think he's around 6 foot, or he's probably Joe Willock height, like 5'11" and a bit. So he's not small. His aerial win rate's not terrible. He's got that physicality. So yeah, I think it'll be really good. I think everybody will calm down as soon as we see a couple of appearances from him. I think the majority of people are excited anyway.
But this is my point. And Billy, I mean, last season and the season before, many people were coming on this show and other shows and saying, "Oh, Harvey Barnes is a real talent at Leicester City," and then we go and sign him, and then people are questioning it because obviously, Maxi's gone, and I think that's the main thing. The signings come as Maxi's gone out the door. It's like ships passing in the night, and I think that's why a lot more people are maybe a little bit fragile with this situation.
It's a case of the king is dead, long live the king. It's what happens when players leave your team. Replacements come in. He's got big shoes to fill, but what Harvey Barnes has got that Maxi probably hasn't. He's a decent finisher. And what you'll see from Harvey Barnes is if the right winger's got the ball and he crosses in, he's pushing the guts against that far post. Scored lots of goals at the far post, and we don't see that from Maxi very often. So I think we'll get more goals out of him. It's whether we get the entertainment out of him. He's not going to beat players for fun like Maxi did. However,
I don't know, Billy.
he has got a trick or two. He can go on the outside, even though he's predominantly right-footed. I saw one good finish with his left foot from the video I saw earlier. But yeah, I think he's a fit for the squad. I've got to say, I think he's a much better fit than what we've had before. I think he will contribute goals, and I think he'll contribute assists too.
Can I just mention one thing as well?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of people are obviously comparing Barnes and Maxi's dribbling ability and stuff like that. And it is what it is. We've signed a different profile of player who can do different things. But for those of you who want the dribbling and stuff and love that, just remember what Isak can do. Like we're not. It's not like we're going to a traditional sort of hoofball or old school working forwards. We've got Isak, and Isak's. So I mean, if you remember some of his runs last season, we've got somebody who can do something arguably at the same level. I don't think Isak is. I'm not sure he's a better dribbler than Maxi, but he's definitely got it. He doesn't quite do as many traditional tricks, but the weight sort of the way he shifts is balanced.
Well, he doesn't look like Michael Jackson sometimes, is what you're trying to say, Alex.
Yeah, but I think we'll just get just as much excitement out of Isak because once Isak's made a run and you're sort of 3 or 4 seconds into that run, you kind of just look in disbelief, like, how's he got there? How's he not lost the ball yet? So Isak still brings that, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be too, we can still have some excitement.
Well, of course, once Newcastle United officially announce Harvey Barnes, which is pretty much straightforward, I think that'll happen probably tonight, to be honest. But we will do a show and look at, like we did with Tonali, we'll take a more in-depth look at him, compare him to some players like Alex does, and we'll have a good look at him and see what he's bringing to Newcastle.
Let's not forget, Paul, we'll go any further.
Yeah, sure.
38 million quid ain't a lot for an England international forward. Remember that?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's. I would maybe have valued him probably around 25 to 30, but because he's English, you get, it tends to be a bit higher. But yes, it could have been a lot more. And of course, Leicester valued him at 50 million quid only a few weeks ago. Let's not forget that either. Ab says, yeah, it was Bruno's first game in pre-season, and you were questioning if he dwells on the ball too much. It's ridiculous. He's our key player. Well, Abs, we can only comment on what we saw. That's what you do in a review. You comment on what you saw. And he did lose the ball a couple of times, but we're not worried about it. We're not worried at all. Bruno will be Bruno next season. Tom says it looks like Joelinton won't get a visa for the US. Very strict RE criminal convictions. Wonder if he'll train with the under-21s and play in their friendly at Carlisle at Gateshead on Saturday. Yeah, very disappointing news, Alex, that he might not be involved in the USA trip, which is a little bit disappointing because he hasn't featured at all yet.
I mean, I don't want to go too far on this channel, but it's political, but it's none of my business. Yeah. I do think it's a little bit of a joke. He's got a drink drive charge. Whereas you're allowed to walk around in certain states doing ludicrous things with all kinds of weapons, and I just think it's a bit stupid. He's a professional footballer, an international player. Would qualify for a professional visa anywhere in the world. He's coming over to spend his time either on a football pitch or in a bus traveling to the next location. Mm-hmm. Clearly not a danger to anybody. It's a bit stupid, really. Disappointing. But it is what it is. It's their rules, and we have to respect that. It's just a shame that he's not going to be able to, be with the squad and practice and get ready for the season in these competitive fixtures, which is a shame. And I know they're friendly, but they're competitive.
I'll tell you what, Stato. Our ex-Prime Minister has been touring the US doing speeches for millions of dollars. Criminal record, yes. Allowed to travel to US, yes.
Mm-hmm. Which
joke.
says it all. Exactly.
So sorry, Americans in the chat. I know you didn't make the legislation. I'm aware it's not your fault. I just think it's a little bit silly and disappointing.
The Americans will be disappointed. Big Joe's not there. They'll be agreeing with you, I would have thought. Gareth, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. He says, have our squad numbers been confirmed for the new season? Do we know? Not yet, but I mean, we pretty much got a glimpse of what they were on Tuesday night. They just didn't have the names on. Do we
reckon Barnes is going to get 10, do we?
Well, I would say that's probably... Well, they could move... Well, it could be interesting. They could do a little bit of a jiggle round here. They could put Joelinton to 10, Barnes to 20, and Tonali to 7.
I mean, Barnes did wear 7 at Leicester, didn't he? So he might just go to 7, Joelinton to 10, and then the rest as it is.
Possibly. Well, you never know, do you? We'll just have to wait and see when they are actually officially announced, guys. Pulkit, wow, what is that?
Batnagar.
Okay. Thank you for your 40 of what Billy's just said. He says Barnes is half of Maxi and double the price. So clearly a Maxi fan. PD Proudlock, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, can't wait to see Barnes in a black and white shirt. Looks like the third kit is out tomorrow as well, which is looking interesting. Yeah, the blue kit looks rather nice if it is to be that.
Oh, I'm going into work early just so I can order it.
Yeah, I'm ordering mine straight away tomorrow because I like that more than the away strip. But Alex, I just wanted you to comment on this. Me and Billy spoke about it the other night. I don't know whether you've seen the pictures after the Gateshead game of Newcastle coming onto the pitch ready for the game. And I think it was Matt Ritchie was ahead of, was it Jamal Lewis, Billy?
I've seen them.
And the strips were completely different. I mean, that is shambolic.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few different takes on this. There's been a few, nerds, professionals, whatever, who have said, there's been a few comments suggesting, oh, it's impossible when you've got hundreds of thousands of, yards of fabric or whatever it is to get all the patterns to match up on every shirt and all of this nonsense. Well, don't go to a pattern that you can't consistently replicate. Then it's a football shirt and it has to be uniform.
I know, Alex, but Castore tried to be this massive big firm, and come on, they've got printers and professional printing machines and everything. That they should not get that wrong.
No, I agree.
What the patterns are like.
I agree. I don't care that they're so big. Get it right. It's ridiculous. Like, unless the intention is for it to be different, and if that's the case, that's bizarre. It's ludicrous. It's stupid.
Well, that's even more strange.
The whole point in a kit is that it's uniform. That's literally the point in it. It's meant to be the same. Just getting one badge upside down on a Wolves shirt. Maybe if there's a few errors with shirts that go out to customers and you replace them, fair enough. But it just looks ridiculous. It looks like some parts of the pattern have been attached upside down or put together upside down. It's just not good enough at this point. And they've done all of this whining behind closed doors to try and stay with us, but it's constant. It's a constant letdown. I love the shirt. I like the green shirt. I'm not a particular fan of the round collar. I don't know why we've got a pointed collar here and a round collar on the away shirt. Mm-hmm. It should be the same. It should be consistent. I do find that really strange. I don't like that. But I do like the shirt separately. But uniformity, that's the whole point in wearing a kit. It's just stupid. And I'm a little bit disappointed with the club that the club have okayed it without. Surely it must have gone through several phases of testing and somebody's gone, yep, that's perfect. There's nothing
I'm sure
wrong
the
with
players noticed it. They couldn't not. They were that different. It's a little bit embarrassing.
I don't blame the club. I'm just annoyed.
No. I mean, listen, I blame Mike Ashley for bringing Castore in the first place. Ian says Trips can play another 4 years. Maybe he could play another 4 years, but I wouldn't say he's a starter for another 4 years.
Maybe not right back either. Maybe he'll move into a different. Maybe he'll go into the 6 role or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah. Diaby apparently doesn't want to live in Birmingham. Who can blame him? Well, we've heard him say that before. Of course, Jimmy came out with the old classic that Birmingham smelt of cheese. I don't know why, but that's what he said.
I do love all these comments and rumours about Birmingham because it's going to really irritate Gabby Agbonlahor, which is great.
Well, it is, yes.
Karma.
Yes. Keith Dites, thank you so much for gifting another 5 memberships. That is absolutely superb of you, Keith. Thank you very much. Niall Powell, Kieran Curtis, Carlos, Toon Gamer, and Foxy have all been given those free memberships for a month. Thank you so much, Keith. He keeps doing that. Just incredible generosity from Keith over there in the States. Thank you, buddy. Little FB says Trips has done nothing with free kicks for a while. Time he gave the ball to someone else. There was a few corners again on Tuesday night, which kind of went awry. Didn't hit the first man a few times. But look, we'll sort this out in pre-season. I'm pretty sure of it. Scott says, I predicted the Maxi loss last year. I even said he would not start the new season with a steak emoji. And then he says, guys, you must expect teams to change for Eddie Howe. He don't want him. Christ, these guys earn millions.
All right.
Uh-oh.
All right. Could you put the comment back up so I can destroy it section by section?
Well, no, you're not going to destroy it. It's Scott's opinion, Alex.
And it's wrong. So, predicted the Maxi loss. It's a flip of a coin, mate. He's a saleable asset, and it was very possible. And secondly, Eddie Howe's come out publicly and stated he loves Maxi. He used him against Gateshead. Why would you use him in the preseason friendly if he wasn't going to be part? There was a possibility, and it depended on the fee and the arrangements.
Sorry, I'm smiling.
None of that is right at all.
I've got the StreamYard chat on my main screen here, and then on the other screen I've got the live chat on YouTube.
Is it just raw meat,
as it comes in, and the raw meat emojis are absolutely flying in.
Guys, you must expect teams to change for Eddie Howe. Well, Maxi's done nothing but try to adapt his style for the last 6 to 12 months, constantly. You can see that. So don't be lying for no reason, because you can see he's adapted his game. He's tried to adapt his game.
He's not lying, Alex. It's his opinion.
Well, he's either wrong or he's lying. So either way, it's a loss, isn't it?
His opinion can't be wrong, can it? I mean, I know I shout people down sometimes for their opinion.
He's tried to press more. He's tried to track back more. He's bulked up physically. He's tried to stay fit, done increased training. He's changed his game to do more passing. It's there for everyone to see that he's trying these things. So you can't just say he's not trying. Like, that's nonsense, right? I mean, he's gone with Barnes, who is better at those things off the ball. Fair enough. It is case closed. But, respect people who have worn the shirt. It's just disrespectful at this point. We didn't particularly like Chris Wood's style of play, but, he came in, he tried his best for us. And people don't deserve to be slagged off.
Okay. Well, another player that has been linked to us quite heavily today, apart from Livramento, is this guy, Conor Gallagher. Now, Chelsea apparently, Billy, quoting £50 million they're valuing Conor Gallagher at. Now, I know he's had a couple of good loan spells. He's played for England, and I think he's quite a decent player. A lot of people have disagreed with me on social media with that, but I think Conor Gallagher is a good player, but not for that kind of money.
He's not what we need. As I said before, we've got enough midfield players now. Gallagher's got a lot of energy. Little else to get. He's a box-to-box player. We don't need a box-to-box player. It just doesn't fit our system.
Oh, that's harsh. Little else.
Well, he is little else. Whenever he plays for England, all you see is run. He's noticeable because his hair.
Oh, do you know what? I love it when you two debate instead of me and Alex. It seems to be it's Billy and Alex going at it, ladies and gentlemen. Buy your tickets right here live on the Toon Review.
Seriously saying nothing else about him than energy.
Interesting.
I think that's harsh. Like he profiles closest to Joelinton and Joe Willock, so I don't think we'd ever go for him because he profiles exactly like two of our players. But I think he's competent. He's similar to those two in a way. I think he's a decent player. I don't think we'll go for him, and I don't particularly want him because I don't think we need him. But I think it's a bit unfair to say he's just all bouncing hair and energy.
That's your opinion, Alex. Mine is different to that.
Ooh, I'm going to have to. Well, I'm in a black and white uniform here. I mean, I'm not going to have to umpire. Used to. I mean, this is different for me. I'm not used to this. It's normally me and Alex going head to head, but Alex seems to.
I've got no reason to defend. Conor Gallagher.
This raw meat stuff, Alex. Right? I mean, people are giving you their opinion, right? And it's only their opinion.
But the thing is, there are certain things like what me and Billy are on about now. Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair. But there are certain topics in which it isn't just an opinion or your opinion or their opinion. There is a yes or a no, a right or a wrong answer. What we're discussing about Conor Gallagher is very opinion based. In Stato's
world, there's always a right and wrong answer.
If we went in depth and talked about tackles or goals or something that Conor Gallagher does, then it would be factual. But I've not read up and watched Conor Gallagher much recently, so it's just our opinions, which is true. So
yeah, I mean, look, I think he's a decent player. Do I think he's worth 50 million quid? Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he's
ridiculous.
Worth 50 million. I think that is also a ludicrous fee. I think that would be closer to. I think he would be similar to a Barnes fee, in my opinion.
He's not an international player by any shadow of imagination.
No, I don't think he is yet. But I think Eddie Howe could make him an international player.
And yet he is, because he's always in the squad.
Well I think Joe Willock. If Joe Willock hadn't have gotten injured, he deserved to be in front.
Joe Willock's a better player than Conor Gallagher. There's no doubt about it.
I agree.
If it was between the two, then not a chance. Joe Willock over Conor Gallagher any day of the week.
But Joe Willock's improved into what he is now. He wasn't
absolutely, but that's under the guidance of Eddie Howe. Now, if Conor Gallagher comes in, or let's say Harvey Barnes, people are saying that he's not the superstar player. Well,
of course.
Why can't Eddie Howe make him the superstar player?
18 months ago, Conor Gallagher would have improved us and been a really good signing. But now, Joelinton and Joe Willock have improved so much that we just don't need anybody in that role.
And that's why I'm excited about Harvey Barnes, because I think Eddie Howe will do exactly the same with Harvey Barnes and make him an England international. I'm telling you now, I'm saying it here. Clock the time, whatever it is, but I think Harvey Barnes could become an international under Eddie Howe. Keith, really, man, thank you for your $20 super chat as well as those memberships you've gifted. Absolute gem of a man. Keith, I wish I could get out there and shake your hand, but I'm not allowed. He basically comments saying, get Alex a steak. We've had a $4.99 super chat from Darren Drinkle. Darren, looking forward to seeing you at the games again, mate. Hope you're well. Alex is very upset tonight. Bye-bye, ASM. Eddie Howe would say that he likes him, but he did not play many games last season. He's not a team player. And Arturo, don't say a word, Alex. Arturo, thank you for your €5. Villa team is ridiculous with 3 fire emojis. Yeah, Villa are going to be a good side next season, and there's no doubt about that. Emery's doing a very good job there. Ratchet says, I wish we would have sold Miggy and given 1 season to Maxi. Eddie could have used Maxi just as he did Callum and took care of his injuries. Miggy will never be what he was last season. I wish I am wrong. Interesting. Alex! Connor says, worked with a German lad and he said Diaby is like Maxi, not as consistent as everyone makes out. Interesting.
I'm not sure wide players is what Villa needs. And they've signed Pau Torres, and I don't think centre half's what they need. So I think the signing is a surplus what they really wanted. So I don't see him as much competition. They'll certainly be as good as what they were last year.
I would mention the fact that he'd be alongside Tyrone Mings, but I've got Mings in my fantasy team.
Of Tyrone Mings, potentially.
No, he won't, Alex. Mings will play every game next season because he's in my fantasy lineup.
Tyrone Mings was really good towards the end of last season, to be fair to him.
He was.
They're both left-sided centre-halves.
Well,
and both have been used as left-sided centre-halves under that manager specifically.
Interesting. Ratchet says, any news on Ryan Cherky? This is one guy I don't want us to miss. There's nothing on him.
The guy that profiles like Maxi. Oh, interesting, that.
Do you know what it is, Billy? It should have actually been called, special, TDR special, ASM The Wake. Just so Alex can reminisce and, eat his raw steak live on camera. And
it would make no sense for us to go for Ryan Cherky because he profiles exactly like Maxi. Why would we go for somebody younger who does exactly the same thing as Maxi when we clearly are going in a different direction?
Yeah,
I don't think we'll go for a player like that because we're going in a different direction.
Another point, it's got a medical to
now, Billy. Before you say anything, is this going to upset the man above you this time?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
You might give him a bit of something to hang on to. Maxi's got to pass a medical at some point, and everyone's saying he's injury prone.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. Yeah. Stephen says, I didn't realize that the window slab shut tonight. Yeah, the way some people are going on social media, I think it was shutting tonight. James says, Paul, Livramento is miles ahead of Ashby in Premier League experience. He's a future England fullback. He's just class. Destroys teams going forward. Fair enough. No complaints about that at all. If that's what he's like, bring him in. Zishan, thank you for another $9.99 super chat. He says, towards the end, we should look at loaning a couple of players from the Saudi league. Doesn't matter if it pisses other clubs off. If it's in the rules, we should do it. The the RB clubs do it, so we should. That's not a bad point, actually. The Salzburg and Leipzig. It happens.
Sell Maxi to whoever it is, Ali Lal, and loan him back for 5 years.
Loan him back, yeah. There's been a few comments about that saying if that happens, and just to piss the Premier League off, because there's no rule. There is no rule, and the RB clubs do it. There's no doubt about it. Who was the striker that did it with last season? Who we were linked with?
Šeško, was it?
Šeško, yeah. He went from Salzburg to Leipzig, of course. So, it does happen. It does happen. Clarky says, I think Barnes will be brilliant. And yes, there's been loads of negative comments regarding him for some reason. Bill says, I think you were looking in the wrong places, Paul. Haven't seen much hate at all. Well, Clarky's just confirmed it for you, Bill. It is out there, mate.
I don't think you're looking at all, Bill, because it's definitely there.
Yeah. Nick says, if Barnes was coming to us from the continent with his stats and form, the fan base would be jumping for joy. The lad is class and give us goals and work rate. Yeah. If his name was Barnesinho or something like that, they'd be just, up in raptures about the signing. But, that happens all the time just because they're not the world-class big names. But, Bill, we're only pulling your leg, by the way. It is out there, buddy, it's on all sorts of social media. People complaining about selling Maxi and, what good is it bringing Barnes in when we're selling Maxi? All of this kind of stuff, it's out there. But look, people should just wait till they see Barnes play and make their mind up after this season. He's got Premier League experience. He's a good goal scorer. He's got good skills on him. His work rate is fantastic. He's like a little bulldog and exactly the kind of player that Eddie Howe loves to have in the team. So, but again, we'll pass judgment for now. Guys, I need help with this name.
Abdul Rahman Alessa.
Abdul Rahman Alessa. Welcome to Members Club, Abdul Rahman, and thank you for signing up, and welcome to the Toon Review Members Club, matey. You are now in the draws. We're going to start doing a lot of stuff for the members coming up in not so long time with putting videos out, and for the first couple of hours, they will be for members only, prizes, all sorts of stuff. Billy, that was a little bit freakish. You went invisible for a couple of seconds there.
I know, I'm just trying to show my background.
Yeah, it looks all right, matey. It looks fine.
I had it set to blue top background.
Oh, when you've got a green screen. Yeah. Never mind. Yes. Carl says, my only worry with Barnes is he's not the most creative player when playing against a low block. Well, was Maxi?
That's quite true. However, we do have players that can feed him in behind the low block now.
That's true, but Maxi suffered the same problem. The low block, and we know, Billy, you made a point of saying this quite a lot last season, was that, whoa, hang on a second, that must be Indian Rand, surely.
Rupees?
Indian rupees, Ranga Pratisco, 100,000 rupees. That's Indonesia. Okay. Okay, so it's not Indian, Billy, it's Indonesian. I think, I don't know what that converts into, but thank you very much. I don't think I've ever said 100,000 super chat before, whatever range it's in.
It's 100,000 Indonesian rupiah is £5 British sterling. So
thank you very much for your fiver, Ranga. I knew it was around that because I love the show.
You got Paul very excited there.
I didn't get it. I knew exactly, Alex. I do have education, I do know that the what the currency over there is crazy. It's the same in what's the place?
Do you know what Vietnam's is?
Vietnam, that's the place I was going to mention, Billy. It just escaped my mind.
Their currency is the dong, apparently.
The dong, yeah. Well, I remember Top Gear Special going out there and Clarkson thinking they gave him like 100,000 dong or something. He went to buy a car and he says that wouldn't even buy you a piece of meat. It was hilarious. So I do know. I am educated, Alex. Thank you very much.
A lot of dong in my pocket, to be fair.
Well, yes. Interesting. We will move on. Stephen Lamb, welcome to Members Club. Thank you for signing up, matey, and welcome to Members Club. Jan says Barnes is a player who will hit the ground running. No worries there. JB says, I've seen an odd Maxi fanboy hating on Howe and Barnes. They don't understand the workings of football. Listen, there's one guy that's been commenting on my videos who has nearly every single comment on yesterday's video was that Eddie Howe should be fired because he is selling Maxi. Eddie Howe should also be fired because he's not selling the dead wood. Now, if you watched my show earlier on today, Newcastle United, and it is reported now many, many places that Newcastle United are very, very frustrated that they cannot sell Jeff Hendrick, Ryan Fraser, and Isaac Hayden because of the wages that they are on. Who gave them the wages? Mike Ashley. It's nothing to do with Eddie Howe or any of the current staff, right? Those contracts were given in the Ashley era when he was handing out 6-7 year contracts, 60, 70,000 pounds a week to bring in the likes of Jeff Hendrick. Now, as I said this afternoon, I'm not putting Isaac Hayden in that same bracket because I think Isaac Hayden has been a fantastic professional for Newcastle United, never once caused any trouble. And if it wasn't for injury, I think he would probably maybe be part of Eddie Howe's squad still. However, the other two, I mean, I think I said Hendrick or Fraser was as much use as a nun's vagina. I mean, they just need to get out. But it's not easy getting rid of these players, guys, because nobody wants to pay the wages. And Newcastle don't want to be in the situation where they're helping with the wages. They want them completely off the books.
The problem is that it's the length of the contract. I mean, if they had a year's contract, we could probably have a mutual consent thing, pay them off, see you later. The fact of the matter is they've still got, I think, is Hayden still 26 or 27 or something ridiculous?
Yeah.
So you're looking at a lot of money to just get rid of him.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything we can do with him. Hayden's got 3 years left, so we might have to find a home for him or use him, or we've still got so Lewis, Hayden, Fraser's contract is still 2025. I don't know what we do.
Well, we don't know if Eddie Howe has plans for Lewis further forward this season. We just don't know.
But this is why we've got to sell somebody like Maxi, because we just can't. We've just got no wiggle room. There's just nothing.
Fuzzy Hacks says, all I'll say is Maxi, 9 goals in 3 seasons. Barnes, 37 goals in 3 seasons. Goals are crucial. Indeed, they are. I mean, that is a stat that can't be argued with, but,
Well, when you put one stat up, yeah, of course.
Oh, jeez. Do you know what it is? Alex, just let it go sometimes. Ian McKenna, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. How much is this in yen? Get lost, Ian. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Ranga, welcome to Members Club as well. Thank you for signing up to the Toon Review membership. Much appreciated. And thank you for your monthly support. We've got a $69.99 Canadian dollars coming in from Cruz Scott. Cruz. That's a Canadian name if I've ever heard one.
Cool name, that is. Cool, Cruz Scott.
Cruz Scott.
What a name.
Yeah. Great work this summer window. You boys keep the fans in check. Keep it up. Have a few beers on me. How are the lads? Thank you very much, Cruz. Much appreciated, buddy. And thank you for tuning in. RG Fox says, good luck to both players. Careers move on and fans move on. Yeah, they do. Look, I made the point of saying, I think last night on Twitter, I said that I'm seeing all these people say, Maxi's a legend, a Newcastle legend. He's not. He's a cult hero with the fans. He is not in legend. You talk the Shearers, your Keegans, your Beardsleys, your Moncurs, your Jackie Milburns. They are Newcastle United legends. Hatton Ben Arthur, Lauren Robert, they are not legends. They were cult heroes with the fans. There's a big difference between legends and cult heroes, Billy.
Yeah, I think Maxi fits into that second kind of group of players much more than does the first. It's definitely not a legend. It's just the potential that he's got. And I just like to have seen him at his peak one season with decent players around him and not Chris Wood to aim for, to see what he could do.
Well, that got Alex's approval there. But
yeah. It's the whole point of it.
You know, legend is used far too easily these days, though, Alex, isn't it?
It's worth. Yeah, I completely agree with what Billy's just said. He's the tier underneath that. Completely
Yeah.
fair. However, it is worth noting that without that player, that a lot of people are berating and slagging off week in, week out for bandages and all kinds of nonsense.
Well, I seen a picture. Sorry, Alex. I seen a picture on Twitter today. It's made me laugh. It was just a picture with a load of bandages on the floor. See, this is what Maxi's left behind. I had to have a chuckle. I mean, I know it'll probably infuriate you, Alex, but I did have to have a chuckle. It was just a load of bandages on the floor. And I did think of you at the time, actually, thinking, oh, that will stir the beast.
Yeah, well, so the most important thing that for people to remember, and all these haters and slagging off, and you know, whether it's for a headband or for everything that people went in on him for, we would not have had the takeover without Alan Saint-Maximin. Without that player, we are not where we are right now. None of this happens. None of it. So players like Callum Wilson, who arguably he could have gone to a lot of teams who had a better sort of that were looking better than us at that time period. So players like Wilson and Maxi deserve so much. Honestly, so much respect. Even players potentially like Shelby. There are a few players that could have gone elsewhere. They really could have done. They were better than us at that point. They could have gone elsewhere and they didn't. And we do owe them a massive amount of respect for that. It's not just Maxi. There's a few of them. And it's nice to see that. I want us to stick by those players, help develop them where we can. Obviously, as time goes on, we do outgrow them, but we've tried to improve Wilson, and he's been phenomenal for us. And we've obviously Shelby and Maxi have now gone. But even players like Murphy, you've got to understand. I mean, potentially Murphy wasn't in that category, but there were people who helped us, and we wouldn't have had the takeover without them, because we would have gone down to the Championship again and probably faded away and ended up where Sunderland are or were.
Okay. Ab says, as others have said, in the coaches we trust. I've not been blown away by Barnes, but hope he will smash it. Yeah, you don't have to be blown away by him, Abs, and that's fine. That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, don't crucify him. You know, you might not be blown away by the signing or very excited, but give him an opportunity to excite you. You know, give him that chance to get your backside off the seat and taking a few players on and whipping the ball in. You just don't know. And I'm very confident that this guy is going to be superb under Eddie Howe. I really am. I know how, we've seen what Eddie Howe does with players. My
last word on Maxi, though, I mean, that's Alex just alluded to there. When we go back to the dark days of Cabbage Head, when Callum Wilson was injured, he was literally our only outlet. The only style of play was give it to Maxi, see what he can do.
Well, yeah, because
between him and Joe kept us up.
Because there was loads of people making memes up, wasn't there, of Steve Bruce's tactics board with 9 players be in the penalty area, and then all the arrows pointing to Maxi on the left wing, give the ball to Maxi and let him run with it. Seacrest says, I found the opposite. Daft posts slamming Maxi even though he's leaving. No need to kick the poor guy on his way out. Look, I think that's shocking, to be honest. I mean, we know that Maxi loves Newcastle United, and whatever your opinion of him is, whether you're pro Maxi or not, like the guys have just said, he has done great things for this football club while he's been here, but he's moving on now. And like Billy said, the king is dead, long live the king. Life goes on, and I'm sure Maxi will have a great career out in Saudi, and, best luck to him. I really do mean that. And I think he'll smash it over there because, he's playing with a bunch of veterans. So, he'll dance around people like the statues, to be honest, out there. He'll have a whale of a time. Jan says, we now have some clever players in the team, which will make all the difference. Stephen says, Maxi was perfect for a bad manager where the orders were hoofed up for Maxi.
Apart from certain games where his instruction was, use the space and rip Manchester City apart, and he did that successfully.
Yeah.
You can't just exclude bits of history that happened and facts.
Yeah. John says, personally, I think Harvey Barnes will prove to be a fantastic signing for us. He gives us far more options. He gives us goals, assists, and his work rate. He will be a better player for us than Maxi. Kelvin says, English tax, can we please normalise this now? Foggy says, love the analysis and banter. Great work, lads. Thank you very much. Simon says SofaScore says Barnes is 181 centimeters or 5 foot 11.26 in real money. Well, okay. Ian says there is also the point that the money will be paid up front in full, which can be used for maybe 2 players. That is a good point as well, Alex. You know, the money's coming up front.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's how it should work theoretically. If obviously we get a lot of money up front, depends on bonuses and add-ons and bits and bobs. But we can then obviously take advantage of the fact we can pay for people in bits, and then additionally that transfer fee is then amortized as well. It sounds simple when you say it out loud. Obviously, we've got to make it work, but it's obviously no secret that things like the Livramento links have increased since this whole Maxi stuff, and the Barnes deal has been waved through pretty much immediately. I think that was potentially what we were waiting for, unless it's a coincidence, of course, which it's not likely.
No. Bath says, Paul, it says you're not live. Well, I've just this second checked, and it does say we're live. I don't know what's happening with your stream, Bath, but we're definitely live and have been for 60 minutes and 26 seconds. So, yeah, interesting. Irani Granny says, when I went to Arkansas, we got to drive around in a private tank. It was crazy. Jesus Christ. Toon Sean says, I'm so happy the dribble boy, no end product Maxi is leaving. Oh, God. Barnes much better in the last third of the pitch. Let's quickly move on before Alex presses his button.
You spell your name wrong, mate.
For God's sake. Toon Sean. Why has he spelled his name wrong, Alex?
Well, Sean is Sean, like Sean Bean or Sean Longstaff. He spells it Shaun, and his profile picture is of a Chucky doll. So,
Alex, there's many ways of spelling Sean. You know that as well as I do.
Well, yeah, the right and the wrong way, of course.
Well, no, there's no... I do apologise to all the other Seans that have spelt it that way. Alex is just on one. He's feeling down. He's a little bit upset tonight. He's a little bit
raw. Fault their parents gave him the wrong spelling.
Oh, my God. Would you just listen to the verbal garbage coming out of your mouth right now? Seriously, get a hold of yourself. I do apologise.
You go and tell
everyone.
Sean Bean that his name's spelt wrong.
Well, look, we knew this was going to be a tough night for Alex, and it's proven to be the case. So just... if he's insulting you, just let it go over your head, because it's just because he's very upset. He's down. He realizes that he's not going to be able to defend Maxi anymore because he doesn't play for us, and he'll miss those arguments with everybody. So I do apologize for that. Charlie says, well, this is a Leicester fan. Harvey tends to drift in and out of games and doesn't track back, but occasionally he's unstoppable. He should do well for you. He hasn't made a fuss about wanting to leave, so good luck to him. Interesting, Charlie. I think if he's not interested in tracking back, then he won't be in the team. Because
you know what's hilarious is that is identical to a lot of people's analysis of Maxi.
See, there you go. I knew he was going to... Billy, funny. I could have put money on that, mate. I could have put a mortgage on Alex coming up with that. And there you go.
Oh, how funny is that?
Just diving straight in.
But it's a Leicester fan that said that.
Yes. What I'm saying is Eddie Howe won't allow that to happen, because if he doesn't track back, he'll not be in the side. But that's what Eddie will work with him. Seattle Geordie, thank you for your £10 super chat. He says, I hit onto another NUFC YouTuber by mistake. Thank you, Billy. Dollars. I hit onto another It got used to it. So picky here, honestly. Jesus. I hit onto another NUFC YouTuber by mistake, and someone had to me a very good synopsis of Maxi. Billy should like this one. Maxi is all frills and no knickers. I respect him, but not a big fan.
Oh, cheers. Oh, I was talking about Maxi, not me, sir.
No, well... yes. The thought scares the crap out of me, Billy. But yeah, look, I don't know who that YouTuber was, but it's their opinion, obviously. Some people are pro Maxi, as in the gentleman to, well, my right, as you look at it on the screen. I don't know. Stephen says, sorry to disagree, guys, but you are wrong. It's about 3 different green mixes off 1 reel of fabric on the green kit. Stephen.
The thing is, it's supposed to be a uniform. What does uniform mean? All identical.
Exactly. I mean, Christ. I mean, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's like green patterns, but it when you bring out a pattern shirt, you expect those patterns to be identical to your counterparts and not just sort of splashed all over the shirt. The way it is, it's just, for me, that just sums up Castor. Absolute bollocks, right? And I cannot wait to get rid of them. And get a decent guys back. Darren says, all right, boys, cans out for ASM going. Harvey Barnes is an upgrade. I'm happy with him. I know Darren's trying to wind you up. David says the kit is meant to be the same. Liverpool had the same a few years ago. Our black third kit a while ago was all slightly different. Ashley owns part of Castor, doesn't he? Well, rumour has it he does.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is why we need to get out of that. But listen, I'm looking forward to our third kit coming out tomorrow. But that is it, guys. We have come to the end of the show tonight. Now, there's a lot happening with Newcastle United, so we will be live again tomorrow night with latest news, transfers, things like that, and a bit of banter as usual. Very interesting to see what actually happens in the next 24 hours with the other players that we're linked to. Are we trying to now push deals through to get these guys out to America for a proper pre-season against 3 Premier League teams? Very, very exciting for me and for us as a channel, but for us as fans as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't forget, Sunday night though, 11:45 p.m. Me and Alex will be live with you and bringing you live commentary of the first pre-season. I believe it's against Villa from America. It kicks off at midnight. We go live at 11:45 p.m. Is that still the case with you, Alex?
Yeah, of course.
Go. Brilliant. Billy will be snoozing as he's up for work very, very early in the morning. We will bring you all the games from America. So some late nights to come for us in the commentary positions, but you guys wanted it, so we will. It is televised, so you can watch it on TV if you have Sky. If not, then just listen to us. If you've got Sky, watch the game, knock the commentary off and listen to us. So it should be good fun, very good fun watching the Toon in action again, especially against Villa. I think that's an interesting matchup for the first game in America. See what kind of teams that they put out. I think they'll be putting strong teams out through all 3 games, to be honest, because they need to. Billy, don't look like that. I think he will. We're going to America. There's going to be
Villa first game of the season. We're not going to give too much away, surely, Scott.
Well, that's not about it. It's Billy. Just go and tonk everybody. That's the American fans. They haven't seen Newcastle for a while. They want to see us, and they want to see us win games. It will be mix and match, but I'm looking forward to seeing the 3 strong teams. But you never know. Guys, thank you very much for all the new members tonight. Welcome to the Toon Review, all the new subscribers, and of course the Super Chatters. Thank you so much for your generosity again. Really blows our mind. Mod Squad, fabulous work again from you guys. Thank you to Billy and Alex. We will be back again at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Until then, God knows what's going to happen, but we'll see you very soon. Good night.
Oh, we're the lads and lasses.
Come back and check on some green.